I've driven whatever car I've wanted. I've owned Aston Martins. I have all the cool trophies that everyone that starts off aiming for when they go into entrepreneurship. And what I realized was this will determine how fast you become successful. What is up, guys? I wanted to make a follow-up video to me making over $10 million in 2024, and I want to go into more depth. I want to actually talk about the frame of mind that I was operating from. I want to take time to go through all of the lessons that I learned going from 0 to 10 mil, because it really didn't happen overnight, and it took a lot of effort and it took a lot of time, and there's a lot of things that I learned in that, and I think a lot of these lessons will be really valuable to you. Let's get into it. So as a lot of you guys know, I was kicked out of college. I was kicked out in my sophomore year, and so when I tell you I was broke, let me tell you about it. My friend came down to visit me from my hometown. We were supposed to go out on spring break together. I already had paid for everything in Miami. Get an email from the conduct office saying you needed to come in. So I was like, all right. So in my mind, I like to confront the problems right away. I didn't want to run from it. Looking back, should have gone on spring break, probably would have a hell of a time, and then I wouldn't have cared as much. But I stayed, my friend stayed with me. There was an event going on I was promoting for a club. We went to that event, we got a little bit of food beforehand. I remember it was literally just burgers and drinks. And I put down my debit card, kind of knowing I didn't have any money, and it literally denied, and I was negative, and I didn't have money in my account. And I'm like 19 years old at this point. A lot of my friends at school had plenty of money. I was so embarrassed. And literally from that point afterwards, I had my conduct meeting. They kicked me out of school. So when I literally went home, kicked out of school, and I turned 20 years old, so right, I'm not a teenager anymore. I was negative in my account balance at 20 years old. And I couldn't even tell you how stressful that feels. Now, granted, are there people more poor than me? Absolutely. I'm not trying to have a pissing contest of whose life was the hardest. All I'm trying to say is that I've hit those points, and I've hit those points of financial stress where it was my rock bottom, and that is where I wanted to change my life. It was so uncomfortable for me, it was so embarrassing for me, and I wanted to do better for myself. Now, I'm gonna be going over in this video the common mistakes that I made that really held me back. Looking back, had I learned these mistakes sooner, or if I had implemented them faster, I would have got to $10 million a lot faster than I did. A lot of times we know better, but we don't do better. And it really took a long time for me to learn the difference between the two, and learning that the time between those two, when you know better to when you do better, that time latency is so key to your success. And a lot of you know better, you see these videos, you know that I'm successful, you'll get good advice in this video, but it'll be up to you to actually implement that advice and change your life. You guys are gonna see this in my last video. I actually go back to my college campus, and it was really, really nostalgic for me. I actually brought back a lot of memories for myself, stuff that I'd kind of suppressed or forgotten about. And so I wanna kind of bring you back to that time when, I was broke, I'm surviving in college. For you guys that don't know, I was literally donating plasma. They would pay you on a promotion $50 per donation. I was literally donating my blood just to make money, because first thing I want to say is just to have money but then have no time to spend it is no difference, right? There's no difference to that. And so you not only need money, but you also need the time to enjoy money, right? And so life is not all about just a dollar amount in your bank account. It's what that dollar amount in your bank account does for you. So I want to take you back to when I was at school and I'm broke. I'm feeling these things and I have no idea what's going to happen. And so I want to bring you back to that point in my life, because a lot of you might be experiencing the same things, and I hope me sharing this can kind of help you guys get through it. Let me take you back to when I got kicked out of school. The big mindset shift that I went through was raised by a single mom. My mom downsized her house because me and my brother had gone away to school. So when I got kicked out of school, I'm not going home to my childhood home. I'm going home to a much smaller home. My brother now had graduated college, and a job that he was going after is the job that literally my father had, and he still couldn't get hired for over a year. And so he's living at home as well. We're all crammed into a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. I just felt the stress. I felt the stress of, well, I thought I was on the right path. I'm really disappointed I got kicked out of school, but here is my older brother. He graduates school, and it's not even guaranteed that he gets a job, and he had all the advantages of the world to get that job because it's a job that my father had for a long time, and so did my grandfather. And my mother worked so hard. She's literally the biggest sweetheart I've ever met. She was a school teacher. She cared about her students, and she did 30 years, and she still was, had to downsize the house because it's a big house and we had a nice backyard, and there's a lot for her to take care of on her own. Everything felt like it was slipping away, and I just felt like everything was shrinking, and I'm laying in bed, and for the first time, like I'm actually, and I don't like to use the word, but I'm depressed. I'm out of hope is the best way to put it. When you don't have hope, you're just not expecting things to get better. And so it's just very hard to be positive about anything because you just don't know what's gonna change. I didn't know. I didn't know if they were gonna let me back into school. I didn't know if they didn't let me back into school, what I would have done with my life. And the biggest thing was that I saw my mom trying to help me, and this was the mindset shift. I saw my mom try and help me. She was reaching out to her friends. She was seeing who could hire me. She was seeing what job opportunities were available to me. She was reaching out to other colleges. Like, she was trying to help me. And what I realized is that nobody is coming to save you. You have to help yourself. You have to be in your corner more than anybody else's, or your life is not going to change. It doesn't matter how much your mom cares about you. You're the one that has to get up and do the work and make your life different if you're not happy with how your life is. And that was my big mindset change. And it really came from a Will Smith motivational video. I literally think the first 3 weeks when I got home from school, I just laid in bed almost all day. I was really just hit hard by it. I kept trying to improve my life, and I felt like going to school in Florida was one of those things. And when it got taken away from me, or I lost that opportunity, I was really devastated. So I'm listening to this motivational video. I'm trying to do anything to just try and kickstart myself and get myself feeling better. And in this Will Smith motivational video, pretty much just says, you have to decide, what's it going to be, who you're going to be, how you're going to do it. You just have to make that decision, and you got to go get it. And that was the mental switch for me. I just realized that you have to be the decision maker. You can't live this very reactive life where you let life events happen to you. No, you have to go out there and build and go for the things that you really want in your life. And you got to be clear on what those are. You can't just be shooting in the wind. You got to know exactly what you want, because you will get exactly what you want out of life. You will get what you will tolerate out of life. And that was the big mindset shift for me. I was just like, I don't have to have all the answers, but I do need to know what I want and what direction I'm going in, and I need to go, and I need to be trying every day. And so that was the big kind of mental switch that happened to me right when I got kicked out of school. All right, I want to take you guys through some of my first wins. Now, these were so crucial to me because they are what lit this fire inside of me. They were the spark to me becoming who I am today. And if I didn't have these moments, it'd be really hard for me to imagine me even being where I am today. The first one actually came through options trading, which if you guys have followed me for a long time, that's my long-term passion. It's what I've done longer than OFM. And I was so passionate about trading. So I want to take you through. So I just get kicked out of school. Now, I had a few months before that summer job of landscaping that I always worked. Kind of the season opened up because in Connecticut we have winter. And so I had maybe a month, I think, total. Then that job started. My mom's on me. You got to go back. You got to work. I'm like, no problem. So I had a month. And in that month, I'm just looking up online because I'm just so embarrassed to show my face anywhere around town. And so I'm looking for online stuff. How can I make money online? I just want to lock in. Let me sit here where I'm comfortable in my room and I will work all day. And so what I looked up, the first 3 things I tried real estate, I tried e-commerce, and I tried trading. I started with stock trading. I literally tried e-commerce. I don't think I ever sold a product. I was running IG ads for some AliExpress product. I bought a course to learn how to do that. I bought a course and then went and got my real estate license, and I bought a trading course. I educated myself in all those. The first thing I was doing is I'm just trying anything. I'm tasting everything. I'm trying to figure out what it is that I want to do and where I can make money. And so in the trading portion, pretty much what was happening is during that summer, I'm landscaping. So every day I'm landscaping, and they allowed me to have headphones in. And so what I would do is I'm listening to podcasts every single day. I've listened to almost every single one of Gary Vee's podcasts, Ed Milet, and then I get into this podcast, Chat with Traders. And I'm listening to these podcasts every day, and I'm learning about trading while I'm doing the physical labor. I'm running wheelbarrows, I'm raking whatever, I'm cutting bushes. And so I'm learning all this new stuff, and I'm learning about trading, and I'm actually placing trades on my phone. So I'm at work before 9:30, I'm checking on things, I'm popping my phone out, then back to work. And so what I started doing is I would just trade during the day, and I would just try and put on trades, set alerts. And the first names I ended up trading and doing well with was the cannabis names. This was the Tilrays, the CGCs, and I'm actually placing options trades on these stocks as they're going. So long story short, I ended up making like $6,000. I think I would have made $6,000 the entire summer doing, physical labor, 40, 50-hour weeks. This was the big revelation that I had. It was just like, okay, it doesn't matter about effort. Because listen, I know how to work hard. Doing landscape physical labor, 40, 60-hour weeks, 7 days a week, very few people can do that. That's hard work. That'll break a lot of people. I'm getting stung by bees. I'm being sunburned, covered in poison ivy. I'm covered in blisters. That's hard work. And what it finally made me realize was that hard work does not determine how much money you make. Your skills determine how much money you make. And I learned a higher valuable skill, which is how to find things that are trending and buy option contracts on them, put on risk, have the skill to emotionally deal with putting on that risk and hold until you're profitable and exit. This was the big revelation for me. I realized that hard work and the amount of money you make are disconnected. They're not the same thing. You need to put in hard work to acquire skills, but once you have those skills, making money can actually be very easy. And so that was the big revelation that I had. Now, that was the big revelation I had, and this started me on my entrepreneurial journey, where now I'm feeling more comfortable not being an employee somewhere. I'm like, okay, I understand the concept that I can self-educate myself. Remember, I'm listening to these podcasts every day. I'm also leaving work and I'm going and I'm just binging YouTube videos. I'm consuming anything for free. I'm reading every single day. We don't do that for the gram. We do that for our own self-development. I'm doing this every day and I'm realizing that I can educate myself. I can learn skills, and these skills will pay me the same way an employer pays me. And that's the big revelation that I had. And it sent me down this journey of always knowing that I don't need a job. I just need to learn how to make money on my own and learn these higher level skills, and I'll be able to make enough money myself to be financially independent at some point. Moving on to the next chapter is, it did not happen overnight. It took years to really develop this. The next 3 years are literally just me trying and failing and trying and failing and trying and failing. And I burn up all of the money that I made that entire summer. Pretty much I get back into school, so they finally let me back into school. I go back a year later and I'm trading every day and I'm just trying. What I realized, and this is what took me from, making a few $1,000s to making, I think at the time I was making about 10K per month. And that was what allowed me to eventually drop out of school, get away from never needing a job. Just knew that from that point I could sustain myself and keep building. The big key there is you gotta be all in. There's no way to pussyfoot around it. If you wanna walk away from all the stability of being someone's employee and getting that paycheck, you better be ready to go all in, because it's not gonna stay the same. So when you give up your paycheck, understand that your paycheck now is gonna change month to month, week to week, year to year. It can be changing all the time, and you're gonna have to deal with that stability. And so that's what I did. Is I went back to school. I'm learning from now, these professors are teaching me, but I'm comparing it to all the books that I've read and comparing it to the podcasts that I've listened to and the YouTube videos I watched. And I just wasn't happy with the education that I was getting. It wasn't good enough. I'm listening to these podcasts where every 10 minutes I gotta sit back and be like, wow, that's powerful stuff. And I'm learning from people that I admire. And then I'm going to college and I'm paying 10 times the price of what I was paying for these courses or these books. And I'm learning from people that don't impress me, that I don't want to be anything like them. They're not fit. They don't have the freedoms that I was looking for. They don't make the money that I was looking to make. And it just made me realize that wasn't the path for me. That's when I decided to drop out. This gives me all the time in the world to build exactly what I need to build myself up into the person that I needed to be for myself. And so I want to take you through exactly what I'm experiencing at the time, because there's so many lessons learned. When you only have a few hours a day because you're doing this on the side and you're trying to make these things work, you're trying to do OFM, you're trying to do other internet businesses, you're not fully immersed. When you're fully immersed, you're fully in, you're all in, that's when you start learning, and that's when things will start changing. So the next chapter for me is essentially being out of school. I'm living on my own. It's the first time in my whole life. So I think I'm 20 years old at this point, or 21. I'm completely on my own. I don't have much money in the bank. I think all of the money I had is actually in my trading account. The biggest thing that I learned that, let's say, will take you from 10K a month all the way up to 100K per month, you're gonna have to get familiar with risk. Now, everything in life is risky, right? When you walk outside, you put on risk, And so when it comes to financial risk, if you were raised in a household like me, where my dad is a police officer, my mom is a cop, and so at least in terms of financial risk, I wasn't taught properly how to handle that. And so what I learned from 10K a month to 100K per month is you're gonna have to put on risk. When do you hire certain employees? When do you buy more education for yourself? When do you go to that conference? When do you fly to meet that person because you think they'll bring more business? It comes all of these questions you're constantly asking, and there's no blueprint, right? And you feel lost and you don't know what the right answer is. And that's the key in there. There is no right answer. Now, when you're an employee, there absolutely is a right way to do it, right? That job should have made whatever you're trying to do into a system. You're following that system, and that system, whether you do things the right or the wrong way, will either go smoothly or not. And so you're trained to think there's always a right way. You're tested in school, and you always think that there's a right or a wrong answer. When it comes to entrepreneurship and building your own life, there is no right or wrong. You are simply aiming for something, and you're self-correcting with every action, right? So so I'm aiming for 100K per month. I hired this employee, the business isn't growing, this person's kind of fucking things up. Okay, well, that was the wrong decision. Let me pull it back the right way. So I fire that person. Then I learn how to really train people. I put together better systems. I spend more time hiring. Then I hire the right person. Then the business grows. Then we move up. And so that's more or less how business works, is you're aiming for something and then you're going to make decisions, and you're either going to get closer to the goal or you're going to get farther away. And that whole process of trying and failing on your own with your own money in your own time was really scary. And I remember feeling a lot stressed out a lot of the time. I think I might have been my strongest at the time because I'm in the gym torturing myself, just essentially trying to find ways, healthy ways to cope with all that stress of just now being responsible for literally every little thing that's going on in my life. And that's another little key. You need to be responsible for everything, right? Anything that's happening in your life, the relationships, the way you look, your business, you are responsible for all of that. The day you give that responsibility to somebody else is the day that you lose your ability to change it if you wanted to be able to change it. And so in the beginning, you need to be responsible for everything. And that's what's going to make you literally build your dream life. Now I want to talk about what happens between $100,000 a year and $1 million a year, because it all is on you. Pretty much what's happening is you're acquiring skills. The way entrepreneurship works is it works in skill ceilings. When you now acquire a skill above your current skill ceiling, you will make more money. You will unlock new earning potential. Now, what I was always focused on between the $100,000 a year and $1 million a year was just where can I add value to myself? Now, you can do this in your network, you can do this in your skill set, and you can do this in your habits, you can do this in your mindset. It really is all about you. You need to make yourself pretty much an earning machine who operates at a very high level, and that'll take you from making $100,000 a year to $1 million a year. Some of those things are learning, right? Self-development is huge, and it was huge for me. You need to get your mind right. You need to be learning all the time. You need to learn new skills. So you need to learn business skills. You also need to learn personal development skills. You need to learn how to network and meet people that can help you. You need to learn how to be a good leader, learn high income skills, learn how to market, learn how to sell, learn how to run a business. All these things are going to unlock new earning potential for yourself. It's going to get you to essentially operate at a higher level, and it will allow you to make more money, especially with your limited time. When you're doing that, you're learning how to market. You're going to pick up books on how to market. You're going to talk to people that are better marketers than you. You're going to buy courses from people that are better marketers than you. One of the keys that I always do is I like to network with people that are not in my industry, but that are very good at a skill set that could apply to my industry. So if I'm in social media marketing, I don't want to go try and pay someone that does OnlyFans management. I could, but he may not give me all the sauce. I give you all the sauce in the coaching. Don't worry, I'm a transparent guy. But other people might not, especially if you're not paying them, right? So if you're going to network with someone and you're not paying them for coaching, probably not going to be very transparent with you. But if you go sit down with someone that does social media marketing and they do that for, let's say, the sports gambling niche, they're going to be very open and transparent with you because it's non-competitive, and you can do the same with them. And so learning skills like that and how to network with the right people to get the right information, learning how to read books and actually implement, build good habits so that you wake up on time, you're organized, you're a good leader, people want to work for you, you're able to actually get shit done every single day, you can manage your own time and energy. All these skill sets are where they're going to take you from $100,000 a year to $1 million a year. What happens is you get trapped, and that's what happened to me. And there was one major thing holding me back from making, going from making $1 million a year to making $10 million a year. And so that's what I want to talk to you about next. The main thing that was holding me back the entire time that I didn't realize that was holding me back from making $10 million a year was that I was making everything about myself. Now, in the beginning, it's the necessary thing to do at certain levels in your career. In the beginning, you need to elevate yourself. It needs to be about you. You need to acquire new skills and network and travel and have new experience. You need to elevate yourself. Now, when it comes to making $10 million a year, you kind of have to forget about yourself for a little bit. Different priorities kind of emerge. And the priorities, you need to build a business. If you want to just work a little bit, take time off, we call that solopreneurship, or just basically you want to be your own entrepreneur. You just want to focus on high income skills. You want to make money and you don't want to have to hire anyone, no employees. It's all on you. You can do that. Trading is like that. A lot of e-commerce and drop shipping guys are like that. But what that will never give you is it'll never give you freedom. true freedom. True freedom is you spent years building a business, and now that business has so many talented people inside of it that are smarter than you, that business will not only make you money, but it'll grow and it doesn't require your time anymore. That's true freedom. True freedom is how you get to $10 million a year, because you can't be the limiting factor. And that's so key, and so many people miss it. And you miss it because that's just not what was important in your previous chapter, and nobody's telling you, hey, it's time to move on to the next priority and it's time to grow. Now you need to focus on different things. Now that journey of growth never stops. You can always keep learning and continue to grow, and it's just your ability to implement what you're learning that'll determine how fast you grow. So when I was scaling to $10 million a year, the big things that I was focusing on is my team. Is my team smarter than me, or is my team dumber than me? Ask yourself that, because if you're hiring dumb people, you're the idiot, right? You need to find ways to attract really smart people, people smarter than you, into your business, because you don't want to be the limiting factor. You want your business to be better than you. If you're going to grow a business and a brand, it can't be about you. You can be the face of it. You can be the one driving things forward. You can be the reason that people signed up to work for you, but you can't be the reason that that business doesn't grow beyond, the potential that you brought it to. The biggest thing is hiring good team members. And this is something that I do on a daily basis. Everybody markets daily. Everybody sells daily. Everyone wants to get new customers, more money in. Everyone does those daily functions. But how often are you interviewing for new talent? So this is now something that I do all the time. I'm constantly hiring new people, trying to find the best people in my industry to work for me. And I do that on a daily basis. So hiring new people is key. Hiring the best people possible, getting those A players in. And then the other things are system building and automation and finding good tools. You have to be a student of the game. You have to be learning what other people are doing. How are other people being more efficient than you? How are other people getting more done in the same amount of time that you have? And people are able to do this because they use better systems. They use better tools. They're using this new technology that's revolutionizing the world, and they're bringing it into their business. They're finding those applications. A lot of the things that I just listed takes time away from the business. You now need to take yourself out of the business and set eagle eye and look down into your business. You need to be thinking very creatively, like, how can I implement AI into my business? What are the new tools and tech out there that can improve my business? When I started to shift all of my time into these types of things, that's what it allowed me to scale to the next level. Because getting yourself to $1 million a year, I'm sure you are very good at sales. I'm sure your business is very good at marketing. You're able to get new customers in. But what you needed to realize now is that it's a different skill set to get to $10 million a year. And that's basically being able to build the machine that builds the machine. And you need to be able to put systems in place so that your team markets without you, your team sells without you, gets customers without you. And these are all things that I had to learn, and it took me years to really learn this stuff. I think I knew that was what was holding me back, but I had been burnt so many times with bad business partners, or systems fell apart, and I spent more time rebuilding the system than benefiting from the system being built. And I just blamed the system, or I blamed the partners, instead of blaming myself for, well, you decided to partner with him, you hired him, you built that system. So if you built it half-assed and it broke, you're the only person to blame. That's kind of where my mindset is at when I'm going from $1 million a year to $10 million a year. And looking back at it, this is what I would have done different. And it's around execution. I don't think people really understand how valuable execution really is. We applaud it when we see it on a sports field, but we don't applaud it in entrepreneurship because it's a lot harder to recognize, right? So we applaud it when OBJ reaches back and snags the game-winning TD, but we don't really see what that looks like in business because we're always focused on the money, and execution isn't always about the money. Now, what execution means is you're gonna know better, and then you're gonna do better. And then when you do better, you're gonna get the result that you want. And there's a gap between these two things, right? A lot of people know how to not be fucking fat, but they're still fucking fat, right? Because they know better, but they don't do better. And there's this latency period between the two things. The only thing I would do different, looking back, is I would just be tracking and measuring and making sure that from when I know better, that I'm tracking how fast I do better and actually get the end result. Because a lot of times we just stay here. Okay, well, I've read the book, now I know what to do. But you don't do it, right? You don't really implement it, right? You get good advice. How quick do you really implement it and let it start changing your life? A lot of us get drawn back by bad habits and just bad frames of mind, and it brings us back to old ways of thinking, and we get old results. You need to not only learn new things and learn how to do better for yourself, but you need to learn how to actually execute and get those things done, make them a habit, make it a daily SOP, and actually get the result that you're looking for. And your ability to do that will literally impact how successful, and this is the most important part and probably what you guys care most about, this will determine how fast you become successful. If you want to have a career like mine where at 20 you're literally negative in your bank balance and you're kicked out of school, and at 26 you live in Puerto Rico, you can drive whatever car you want. We're literally looking at, you're gonna see this in my last vlog, but I'm looking at houses and building houses in Tampa. I've driven whatever car I've wanted. I've owned Aston Martins. I have all the cool trophies that everyone that starts off aiming for when they go into entrepreneurship. I have all of that. And what I realized was the only thing that mattered that entire time was how well I executed. Everybody knows what to do. That information's available. Everybody knows how to do OnlyFans management. It's pretty self-explanatory. You're gonna get clients, you're gonna market them on social media, you're gonna make sales for them. The actual business portion itself is really not that hard. It's not where the value lies. The value lies in how good your ability is to do things, how well you can learn new things and actually implement it into your life and get the end result. And that's why coaching things are so important, because the coach is gonna hold you accountable to, here's the information, but now I need to stick with you until you actually do it and make the change and get the result that you were looking for. And so I would encourage a lot of you to get coaches, get mentors in your life, people that'll hold you accountable, because you'll do the work of learning what to do, but that's just half the battle. And we have to make sure that we're actually measuring how fast we can actually get what we want to get done. I hope my journey was, maybe at least insightful for you guys. I'm not that different from you guys. A lot of what I went through are going to be a lot of the stuff that you guys go through. And so I hope my kind of self-reflection on my whole journey from $0 a year or negative dollars a year all the way to $10 million a year, I really hope that inspires you. I really hope that you can learn from it and maybe you don't make some of the same mistakes that I do or that I did during my career. With that being said, I want to leave you guys with this one final thought. Money doesn't change who you are. I really don't believe it does. Money, just like alcohol or just like other things in life, it's an amplifier. It's going to show you more of who you actually are. It's going to show the world more of who you actually are. If you're a generous person, you start making money, you're going to be more generous with it. If you're a bad person, you start making money, you're just going to be able to fuck over more people. And so I would say to a lot of you that have that negative connotation that making more money or wanting to make more money is a negative thing, is really not true. Making money for me allowed me to buy my mom a car. It's allowed me to do so many good things in my life. I've been able to financially support people that I care about. I've been able to hire people. I've been able to travel. I've been able to experience things, and all for the better. And so don't let other people tell you that making money and wanting to make more money is a bad thing. It is an amplifier. If you're a good person, making money will only make you a better person. Listen guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section what you want to see next. All right, peace.